Another day in the fish room. We've got a ton of unexpected fry today that I'm excited to show you guys. I'm excited to have them, a bunch of rare rice fish. So let's just jump right into seeing those. Here we have the blue Medaka rice fish that we just moved over a couple days ago. You can see the females there carrying some eggs. So I was expecting this Java moss to be filled with eggs pretty soon. But I left the tank that they were quarantined in empty, and it was just this floating willow hydro here. And you can see we got a bunch of fry free swimming in the tank, which is awesome. We got a jump start on the fry. So I guess they were laying, I guess they could have deposited some on the willow hydro, but if you look in the back there on the matin filter, they were also depositing eggs on there because they had no other option. So you can see the white eggs there that are fungused, but there are also some viable eggs next to them, and that's on both corners of the matin filter and kind of on the bottom there. So we'll probably get more fry. I'm glad I caught it because now I'm gonna start throwing some ceramicron in here, make sure these guys are fed, and definitely not put any fish in here. That was lucky that I didn't move fish over to this tank after I moved those guys out. I've been watching this tank closely with the Ileodon furcidans, and when I came in this morning, we finally have the first drop of the Ileodon furcidans of the Trout Goodeids. These are just born probably last night, and you can see the size of them. These guys give birth to smaller batches of fry, but they're much larger when they're born. So you can see compared to the adults here. So these guys definitely aren't getting eaten when they're first born, which is easier for me because I could keep the tank scaped the way I want it without worrying about having to provide a lot of cover. So that big female was the one who looks like she dropped. We got another big female there. Maybe we'll get another drop soon, but I'm glad that we finally have these guys starting to go. These guys already eaten some baby brine that I fed as soon as I saw them. There's the mom right there. She's nice and thin. This tank, if you remember, we moved the adults of the silver-banded Medaka rice fish. And this isn't much of a surprise. I was expecting to see some fry, and we finally do a couple days later. We got the one right there, front and center. And there's a couple more hiding. There's a lot of snails in this tank, so I wasn't expecting too many. And also the adults were kind of young, so I wasn't expecting too many eggs, but I'm glad to see some fry because I do only have 6 of those. Normally I get a larger group, but I was only able to get 6 at the time. It's always good to have more. Starting to see a lot of fry of the Bozemanai rainbow fish. We moved the mop over a couple days ago. And you can see how small these guys are. I'm counting at least 30 or 40, which is great to see. A lot of times I struggle to feed these guys just because they're so much smaller than rice fish and other egg layers. So I put them in a really planted tank like this with a lot of infusoria and microalgae and all that stuff that they can feed on. So hopefully a lot of them make it. But so far so good. I'm putting the ceramicron food in here for them, and I do see them eating on it. So hopefully we just keep getting more each day. This is a really great day for me because in the snow white guppy tank, where are they? We've got the first fry that I've seen, finally. If you guys have been watching, you know that I've been trying to get fry out of these guys for several months. Maybe I should play lottery or something. It's a really lucky day for me. We got fry everywhere, a lot of them unexpected, so I'm really excited about today. Now that the fry are born in this tank, I'm really looking at it, and obviously I let the Liquigia go out of control here. You can see how it's spreading on the top. I think that looks really cool, but I need to trim it back. I was letting it go just because I wanted some cover for the fry when they were first born, and now that I've seen them born, how large they are and how good of swimmers they are, I'm not concerned about them getting bullied or anything like that. So I think I'm going to trim this back, and I might actually put it on the right side here to replace the pearlweed. I don't know, I like pearlweed, but I think it looks funny in this tank. And I think what I'm going to do is take the pearlweed and put it in the Celestial Pearl Danio tank. just because I think the smaller leaves will look cooler. Just because the fish are smaller, I think just a scale thing might look better for them, because I'm not enjoying the Liguigia in this tank at all with the CPDs. Got this all cleaned up, trimmed the Liguigia. I think it looks good with it on the right side as well. Kind of puts the focal point of that driftwood, which is what I really want in this tank. And the fry seem, you know, they're fine. They're free swimming. They're not getting harassed or anything, and they still have some places to hide up top. And the pearl weed we ended up putting with the Celestial Pearl Danios, hoping that these guys will be more active. When I had a big school of them, like 50 or more, they were always free swimming, even when I had a small amount of plants in the back like I do now. But that pearl weed will probably fill out, and we'll do more where we're breeding. We'll put the Java moss front and center. Even now they're exploring, which is nice to see, more than they were with the Liguigia already, and this is just brand new, and I just stressed them out. So that's good to see. I like it. To help protect the new fry and future fry of the snow white guppies, I went ahead and made one of the kind of makeshift feeder rings out of straw and airline tubing. And I'm gonna add a bunch of frog bit. I have a lot of it right now in this tank, and I'm just going to take some of it. We got some nice large leaves here, and we'll just place some, and I'll fill it up more. But I like having this space open for feeding. I might add an auto feeder to this tank, and also it allows the light just so I could see the fish. Right now, if you see in this tank, it kind of got into the feeding ring because there's so much of it, and it kind of blocks that you can't really see the fish as well as you could if you had the space, and then the auto feeder started dropping food on top and starts killing the leaves. I just got back from meeting up with someone to sell them some fish, and he was nice enough to give me 4 fully grown Kuhli loaches. And he said he's seen eggs on some of these guys. You could see through the belly. And I think we're going to try to breed these guys. I know that it's been done before. We're going to see if we can accomplish it. These are fully grown, so thank you, Aaron. I do appreciate it. If we don't breed them, that's okay. These guys are awesome looking. These guys are nice and fat and healthy. But I'm gonna find a tank to quarantine them in. I'm not sure, believe it or not. I'm, again, running out of space, so I need to add more tanks pretty soon, but we'll find a spot for these guys right now. I threw them in this tank. There's only a couple of blue neon gobies in here. Figured I'd get the shot of them before they hide in the back, probably forever, and I don't see them as much. You can see these are nice sized Kuhli loaches. Really nice pattern on them. And I think they'll enjoy this tank for a little bit with the Sewer Stone, the patterns. The gobies love hiding in between the rocks, but I'm sure that these guys are too big to go in between, but I'm sure they'll appreciate hiding in back there. Yeah, these guys are awesome. Only had these guys for a few hours and already really enjoying them. They are really active. I'm surprised how active they are. I'm not sure if they're just getting used to the new tank or not, but they like to hang up front here. They do have places to hide in the back. Hopefully this continues, this behavior of hanging out up front, because they're really cool to look at and the way they move around. If anyone has any information or experience breeding these guys, let me know. I'd love to talk to you about it, because there's not a ton of information about breeding these guys online. I don't think it's really done too much in our aquariums, but I have seen video of someone with fry that they bred, but they didn't really talk about how they did it. I know it can be done. It's probably really difficult, but I do want to try with these guys because they're super cool, and I think that'd be nice if we could start getting these guys bred in our aquariums. So that was another day in the fish room. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't, and we'll see you in the next one.